I never thought my own home would become the place that broke me. People say love blinds you, but what they don't tell you is sometimes it blinds you so much you can't even see your own pain. My name is Emily. I met Daniel when I was 24. He was charming, funny, and every girl's dream. The kind of man who could make you feel like the only person in the world until he didn't. For years, I believed I was living a fairy tale. Until one day, the fairy tale turned into something darker. It started with messages, late-night notifications he'd hide, unanswered questions, and that gut feeling every woman knows but tries to ignore. But the truth? It hit harder than I could have imagined. One evening, he walked through our front door, not alone, but with her. A young woman, barely in her 20s, all dressed up like she was walking into a movie scene. And Daniel? He looked at me, smiled, and said, "Emily, this is my friend. She'll be staying with us for a while." I remember standing there frozen, my hands trembling, my heart screaming, but my lips stayed quiet. Because love makes fools out of strong women. Days turned into weeks. He'd take her out, to dinner, to parties, to the same places he once took me, and I stayed. Not because I was weak, but because I believed maybe he'd remember me again. But he didn't. He laughed with her at our dining table. He whispered to her in our living room. And some nights, he'd come home smelling like her perfume. And I'd lie there pretending I was asleep, dying a little more each time. I wanted to scream, to throw things, to make him see what he was doing. But instead, I stayed silent. Because I thought silence would save my marriage. But silence only saved his comfort. Then came the night that changed everything. He brought her home. Again. But this time, it was worse. He didn't even hide it anymore. He looked at me and said, "If you can't handle this, maybe you're the problem, Emily." I felt my knees give out. Not from weakness, but from realizing the man I loved had turned into a stranger I didn't recognize. That night, when they laughed together in the other room, I packed my bag quietly. No shouting, no tears, just calm. The kind of calm that comes right before a storm ends. I looked around our home one last time. The photos, the memories, the woman I used to be. And I whispered to myself, "You've suffered enough. Now it's time to choose you." The next morning, I was gone. No notes, no goodbye. Just a silence louder than any scream he ever ignored. I found a small apartment across town, started a new job, and every day I rebuilt the pieces of me he broke. At first, I couldn't even look in the mirror, but slowly, I saw her again. The woman who used to laugh, who used to dream. And one day, I smiled because I realized the pain he gave me was the fire that made me stronger. Months later, he called, cried, begged, said she left him, that he made a mistake. But I just listened. And when he said, "Can you ever forgive me?" I told him gently, "I already did. But forgiveness doesn't mean return." And then I hung up. peacefully. Because sometimes the loudest revenge is living a life that no longer needs him in it. And I did. I lived. I healed. And I walked away. Not broken, but reborn. He tried to destroy me by making me watch him love someone else. But what he didn't know was I was watching myself grow stronger instead.